Howdy everybody. About over the past year and a half, 2 years, I've had a lot of requests from you viewers about doing a video on balancing your wheels. Usually road wheels because we go faster on our road bikes, but any bike wheels really. Here's one of my wheels and just give you an instance. Spin it really fast. And can you see that? It's moving up and down, it's oscillating. Give you a front view, see if you can see it. It's definitely a wobble there and I can feel it. So, if your wheel's like that, and most probably is, usually it's the valve. The valve area is heavier than the rest of the wheel. So all you need to do is counterbalance that. And that's what we're going to do in this video, show you a simple and easy and cheap way of doing just that, balancing your wheels. Now, wheel imbalancing can cause speed wobbles at speed, especially going down hills, but not just your wheels. First, check out your frame and forks, especially your forks. Forks slightly bent can certainly give you speed wobbles and be very dangerous at speed. So check that out first. So at least we're going to make sure that your wheels are balanced in this video. So here's our wheel. It's straight out of the bike, tyre and tube on, and the valve extender, the whole lot. So now I already know that the valve's the heavier part of the wheel, but just to show you, put it here, the valve here, and as you can see it falls down. Goes up to there and it comes down again, so eventually it will swing back and forth until it settles down the bottom, so the valve will be down there. So obviously this area here where the valve is, the valve stem and the extender is heavier than on the opposite side, so all you need to do is counterbalance whatever extra weight is there on the other side. Balancing your wheels is easier with a few more wise choices. For instance, using tubes with the correct valve stem length. The longer the valve stem, the heavier it will be. And really, your stem only needs to clear the rim enough to attach your bike pump. And how about that valve stem nut? Is that really necessary? And as pretty as that valve cap might look, it's still extra weight that you're going to have to counterbalance. And the same goes for valve extenders. Too long and it's just unnecessary weight. So use valve extenders that serve their purpose without adding extra weight. If you have a bike computer, chances are you have a magnet attached to one of your wheels, and that's another weight to be counterbalanced. The best thing to do in this case is to place the magnet on the opposite side of the wheel to your valve. That way they'll help cancel each other's weight out. The way to measure it is you just get, I'm going to use some blue tack, now you can use plasticine or anything like that, and you just get a blob, just pick some off, and find the exact opposite side of your valve. In this case it's up here. Now you put the blob of whatever it is on the rim, on the brake track. So on the brake track. Now you put your valve up here again and see which way the wheel falls. It's going down again. So we haven't got enough to counterbalance yet. So I'll put some more on. The valve up there, what we call that 3 o'clock or 9 o'clock, and it's still falling. So I'll put some more on. Actually I'll put the whole lot on. Right, valve. Aha. So this time we're getting very close. There's the valve. So it's sticky bits sit out. So obviously we're very close now. Now the thing is you don't want this too heavy, otherwise it's going to be counterbalancing it on the wrong side, on the opposite side. But that's pretty close. So the sticky's not going down the bottom, nor is the valve. So we've pretty much got it balanced. So all you have to do now is take this blob of whatever it is off and put it on a weight scale and weigh how much it is. Make sure we zero. And we've got 9 grams. That's 9 grams. Well, that's good because you'll see why in a minute. So obviously the wheel at the valve is 9 grams too heavy. So we need 9 grams at the opposite side. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to use these. They're little lead weights, and they're used in the golfing industry to put on the club heads so they balance their golf clubs. So they're 3 grams each, which just so happens to be really handy because remember we're 9 grams. So 3 of these on the opposite side of the valve on the wheel should balance the wheel nicely. Now the next problem is how to attach these little weights to your wheel. Now we're using clinchers here, and we're only going to talk about clinchers. So you could put your wheel, now these are self-sticky, so they're sticky on one side. You could stick it somehow on your wheel, but it's a good chance that it could fly off at speed. Remember, we're talking about fast rotation of your wheels anyhow. So we don't really want them stuck to the wheel on the outside in case they might fly off. And then not only will they be imbalanced, could fly off into another rider's face anyhow. So that's why we put the piece of blue tack or plasticine up on the brake track, because we're going to put these lead weights underneath the tyre and tube. So go ahead, let down your tyre and tube and take your tyre and tube off the rim. So I've just got the wheel itself with the rim, no tyre and tube on. And this is where we're going to put the weights inside here. So opposite the valve hole, which is exactly here, and I'm just going to mark it with chalk so you can see it nice and clearly. And that's the centre of where we're going to have the weights, because your valve stem's in the centre on the opposite side. So in the centre here is where the centre of your weight's going to be. Just mark that spot again so you can see where we are. Now we need 9 grams, and these weights are 3 grams each, so we're going to use 3 of them. Get some methylated spirits or rubbing alcohol and just clean the rim, the area. Oops, losing the chalk as well. So make sure the rim's nice and clean there so that the sticky can adhere to the rim. Take off the backing tape. Now these rims are 23 millimeters wide, so if you've got 23s they'll work, or wider. Any narrower and it'll be difficult to get these little weights in there. So 25s, 26s up to 28s and 30s are fine. So here we go, just peel that off and stick the first one in the middle there, approximately in the middle, as close as you can get to the middle, like that. And press it in nice and firmly. Now these are made of lead, so they'll form to the shape of the clincher rim itself. And if you need to straighten it, you can just use a small screwdriver. Just push the lead weight over wherever you want to so it's in the centre. So you don't want it to be interfering with the beading on your tyre and the hook on your rim. Next one. Put it right next to it. And the last one. If you're using a tube in your wheel, the tube will hold the weights into place. If you're using tubeless, it's likely that the weights will become unstuck from the rim and float around in the tyre cavity. So you'll need to stick the weights to the rim. And a good way to do that is with a strong glue. 2-part epoxy will do just that. Right, so there you go. 1, 2, 3. Well, that's it. Put your tyre and tube back on now, and when you pump it up, the pressure will push against those weights and help the sticky on the back of them adhere to the rim, so they won't be going anywhere. Right, tyre and tube back on. Let's see how we went. So here's where the weights are. The mark's still there. The valve's over there. Let's start the valve here again. It's going nowhere. I'd say that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Nice free bearings in this wheel too. So, there we go. All done. Give the wheel the spin test. Fast as we can go. Beautiful. See it sideways. Beautiful. All done. Don't forget, you've got to do it to both your front and your rear wheel. So whichever wheels you've got, whether they're carbon fibre or aluminium wheels, it doesn't matter. Disc wheels or ordinary quick release wheels, do the lot. Do all your wheels you've got that are unbalanced. We just came down 3 or 4k of pretty steep descent, pretty steep. See if anyone's brakes melted and tyres popped off. No, it's still on.
Fucking hell. Fuck.
Didn't melt.
It would have been hot as hell there, but they've cooled down since that steep bit. Jesus. And then you hit that dirt road and the fucking clang, 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 Jesus.
Okay, we're back up and around. Everybody.